Yes, I love
It's a great
this.
conversation.
That's how I got jumped. They were like, we having a dance contest at the park. And I was like, for real? Girl.
They lowered you in there.
Girl, they said, so
The dating pool. Before Pop the Balloon, did you do dating apps? How was the sex?
about the possibility of me having some dusty, dookie, big, lumpy,
Right.
color purple braids under my head. So I'm like, I'm either going to walk off and let people think this about me.
Or I'm going to
and
take this shit off.
Or I'm going to take this shit off and show them who the fuck I
Right,
really am.
right.
And then I was so depressed. I had a suicide attempt, in that year.
You know, the marriage didn't work out. Tell us a little bit why it didn't work out.
It took the life out of me.
Yeah.
You know, they do say that marriage, a divorce is almost like a death.
Death.
And it really...
Soca or compa? Why the fuck? What's going on, everyone? We are back again for another episode of Wine Glass Conversations. Yes. And today we have a very interesting woman on, okay? My girl, Johyko. Am I saying it right? Johyko. Okay, Johyko. Mm-hmm. And before we go further, Johyko and I have, some history. Our kids go to the same school and it's same class, and this is the second year they're in the same class. And y'all, when I met this girl, I met her at another kid's birthday party.
We did.
And this woman because typically you don't hear a lot of women just start talking to each other, right? And I love that about you.
Yeah, I'm that friendly girl.
Yeah. So welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on, girl.
Yes.
You have been popping on the internet.
I have.
Okay.
I have.
We so if you don't know, she was on Pop the Balloon.
I was. Ooh, yeah, Pop the Balloon or Find Love.
Yes.
It was I that removed my wig.
Yeah.
When he told me that I had some braids and some lumps under my wig.
Right.
And I'm like, where?
Right.
I don't even have hair.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I had no shame of taking my wig off and just letting him see what it really is.
Listen, girl, when I seen, because I was watching the show religiously, and I watched it in my salon with my clients, and I took a double take, and I was like, I'm doing hair, and I'm like, wait a minute. That's Jaleesa's mom. Because I never knew how to pronounce your name. So I'm like, that's Jaleesa's mom. And I'm like, let me turn this up. Because they're in Arizona.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what is she doing in Arizona? I was literally like, what is going on right now? What is really going on? And I did not know how viral that episode would have went.
I didn't either. That show definitely gets very, a lot of ratings and high views. But, I wasn't expecting to take my wig off. I wasn't expecting somebody to, make a comment about what was under my hair, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or under my wig, per se.
Right.
So, yeah, a lot of people are like, oh, it's staged. It was all planned. And I'm like, we don't see those gentlemen until we come around that corner.
Right.
And what we see is what we get. We don't know what questions they're going to ask us. Same way, I had my stuff prepared, you know what I mean? But, I be traveling, so
right.
I don't mind.
So, before we get further, I love to cheers. You got your gold glass.
Yes, I love it.
It's a great conversation.
Cheers to great conversation.
Yes. So, I want to trickle back because I'm so glad that went viral for you in a positive way, even though people had negative stuff to say. But I'm pretty sure at least majority of it was rooting for you. Yes, So, let's dive into who Johyko is. Right? let's trickle back because we want to know how you even got to this space, even get on the show and everything starting. So talk to me a little bit about growing up, childhood, what life was like for you.
Well, born in New York, Queens, Jamaica Ave, Springfield. Blah, blah.
All right.
But I moved to Florida at a very early age, Broward County, and I pretty much have been here since. But growing up, I was raised by a single mom, so it was just me and my mom. I had older siblings. I'm like the baby. So all my siblings are like 11 years and plus older than me. So, when I was young, everybody left the house. So that left me with her for a long time, just us two. So
Shout out to Zoe Lady.
yeah, Zoe Lady, my crazy lady. But yeah, so I've always been that friendly kid. I've always been that one kid that had a camera in my book bag, my little disposable, rewindable camera. Like, so I've always, from an early age, loved taking pictures, loved capturing memories or whatever. But that came with a lot of, hate as well. So from elementary school, I was always fighting, girl, every day. Every other
is
day.
that because, and like I said, when I met you,
I wasn't even that cute, but I guess I was still cute enough that.
But you know what it is? It's an energy.
Like me, the girls hate me.
It's an energy.
See that too. Yeah.
And back then, pretty girls ain't talk, child. So it's like they'll probably thinking like, who this girl thinks she is? You know what I'm saying? Because. And like I said, just even in my adult years, like meeting you, it was refreshing because it was like, oh my gosh, this short hair girl is like talking to me about my short hair, and it's like that's how we kind of bonded. You know what I mean? So that's probably, I don't know if that was.
I'm a girl's girl, or I'm just a people's person. Like I'm a people person. I love people. I love positive energy. I love positive vibes. I have always been that way. Anybody that sees me later down the years, they're like, yo, you have not changed. Same. You love to dance. Yeah. That was me. That's how I got jumped. They were like, we having a dance contest at the park. And I was like, for real? Girl.
They lowered you in there.
Girl, they set me up. So nothing has really changed. I've always been this way.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So when did dating start for you? Like boyfriend?
Start for me? Well, I was married, obviously, to the kid's father. We were together for 11 years. Then we divorced.
But before he popped up. Let's go back.
You want to go back when the dating started for me?
Let's go back.
Girl, I don't know. I was in kindergarten wanting boyfriends. I remember wanting to fight this little girl because I wanted the boy to be my boyfriend, and so I've always been a lovey-dovey person.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because I think about that all the time. Like, I didn't really have that family structure in the home to teach me what love is. 90s music taught me what love was,
Yeah, all of us.
TV shows, Family Matters and all those things. But it was more so the music. I'm like, I want to feel that. Right. So at a very early age, I was just super mature. Like, when people were watching Jerry and just wanting to see the fights on Maury, like, you're not the father, I'm crying because I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
I'm in second grade, but I know that there's two sisters and brothers that will never be friends because their moms don't get along, So I had a very mature mind at such an early age.
Yeah.
So from early on, I've always just... Yeah. I was always the girl that wanted a boyfriend.
So when was your first official boyfriend? Like middle school?
I would say... let me see. Yeah, I would say middle school. Like my first real boyfriend was 8th grade. Okay. And we were together for like a year or so. And he was older than me. I think I was in 8th grade. He was in 10th grade. So that was my first. And then after that, I think I dated somebody else I always had long relationships. And I dated somebody else for like a year. And then I met my high school sweetheart my junior year. And we were together up until college, like 3 years or so plus.
I was going to say that who became your husband, but
no.
Okay.
I ended up meeting my husband in college, like my last year of college.
Your ex-husband.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've always been the relationship type from very early on.
Yeah.
Never been the player type. I remember being in college and I got exposed to like girlfriends of mine. They're like, yeah, girl, I got my boyfriend and I got the one that paid for my hair. Then I was like, you do what?
Girl,
I've never been her.
Woman, right?
I've never been her.
I thought I was the only girl that thought that was crazy to me. They would be like, oh, he pays my phone bill. He just do this. And I'm like, I think for me, there was a fair. Like, if I get a guy that just financially takes care of me and then I do something to piss him off, he's going to kill me. That was in the back of my head. Like, I can't have somebody here and they're spending their money on me and I'm not actually in love with them.
I'm such a lovey-dovey person. Financial gain was just never a thing I never thought about it.
And oh my God.
Like, even with my first, like, he would get his phone, I would get my phone, and, you know, I'd buy things for him, and he'd buy things for me, but there was never, like, a motive in the back of my head, like, oh, I'm just going to use, I was never the gold digging type.
Yeah, listen, I thought I was weird for that, because so much people around me was like, girl, what?
Yeah.
I mean, you will get the girls that's like me that actually is in a solid relationship, but
I've always been a one-woman type girl, even from when I was a little girl. You know, I had friends that had, like, a boyfriend at this high school, they were talking to this boy at that. Yeah. That was never me.
Girl, I was so faithful, it was bad.
Girl, yeah, it was like a flaw almost.
Yeah, girl, like
faithful to the wrong people.
He cheated. Okay, let me just give him another chance. Girl, I could have been going.
That's why my tolerance level is so low now. Cut off game is so. Girl,
listen, I'm the same way.
That's why I'm still single.
Oh God, we gonna get to it. So, the first marriage. How did that love story start?
The first and only one.
Yeah, first and only. Child, yeah.
That was actually completely unexpected. I was in a season in my life where I wasn't looking for anything. I was actually working on myself, you know, because I found myself getting my heart broken a lot, just being in bad situations.
Yeah.
So I took some time to myself. I was actually like celibate and all this stuff. Went out with my girlfriends, and one of my friends knew him. So he was like, "What's up with your friend?" And I remember looking. At the time, girl, back in the days, I liked my light skin.
Yeah.
I was all into the light skin men. So the dark skins, I was just like, So I was so judgmental. Forgive me. But I remember him like trying to make eye contact with me, and I was just like, ugh.
Yeah.
What are you looking at? Then eventually he asked me for a drink, asked me for my number, but I was not interested at all. I was focused in my studies. It was my last year of college, you know, really focused on me. And I told him, I said, listen, if you want to just hang out, because he had like connects for Cafe Iguana at the time. Cafe Iguana was the spot.
Popping.
So my friends was just like, girl, just use him for, you know, to get in the club. Yeah. And I was like, yeah. But then he always still wanted to see me. And I'm like, bro, like, I'll see you if you want to see me with my friends. We could do group things, but alone, we're not doing that, bro. So eventually after him asking for a while, I was like, yo, like, just please, scram.
Yeah.
Like, just go. Some months down the line, I had to be in Miami for something, and I was like, oh, let me call that dude up and see what he's doing. I was actually bringing a friend in Miami. She needed help with something, so I gave her a ride, and she had like a whole day venture down there, so I'm just bored. Then when I called, he's like, who's this? And I'm like, oh, did he delete me? But then I got to talk to him, got to know him, and I was like, wow, like, I really admire people who like face adversity and kind of, you know, not even kind of, but they overcome it.
Yeah.
So he had a very good like story, and I was like, wow, that's so impressive. Like, I like that, you know? And then after that, he just was doing the right things, you know, just good morning, just very charming, very, you know, so next thing you know, I went like, I think it was like winter break, and I had met him like in the summertime, like in June. But winter break, girl, I left off FAU campus, went down there, and I never went home. I literally like stayed the whole winter break there.
Yeah.
And then the rest was history. Like, then, you know.
So, you know, the marriage didn't work out. Tell us a little bit why it didn't work out.
At the end of the day, the bottom line was, you know, it stemmed from infidelity. But for me, I think it's one thing to cheat, but it's something else to just watch somebody not try to like save their family. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I waited a year before I filed for divorce. We did therapy and counseling, but, you know, unfortunately, he still wasn't being, you know, transparent. And that was like, you know, the ultimatum that I gave him. Like, you gotta be honest going forward. Yeah. It was tough. Watching him like not put in the effort, you know?
Right.
That was worse than the cheating, because I was willing to move forward. You know? I had just had Jalise.
It's like that accountability for real. Right. And just like really trying to work on it.
And you know, there was still just some, you know, I guess lack of communication, dishonesty that was still going on. Yeah. I'm like, bro, like the marriage is hanging on a string right now. You still want to do this?
Yeah.
So it just became way too painful to bear. Yeah. So I chose to separate, got my own place. And even within that time, I was still just like hoping. And I remember at one point, like he just never asked. When I moved out, I was like, all right, he's gonna miss the kids. Like he's gonna miss me. Reality is gonna set in, but not a day, not a minute did he ever ask to come back. So I'm like, he really doesn't want to be here. And I asked him, I'm like, why aren't you fighting for this? And he's like, I'm not chasing you. Oh, okay.
Wow. Okay.
So I realized, you know, as much as my family was upset, because they're just like, how do you Americanize people, you Americanize women, y'all give up on y'all marriage so fast.
Girl,
you need to fight. And I'm like, I can't fight for something where someone...
It's like trying to beat up a person that's not trying to fight back.
Right. So at the end of the day, I had to try to look at things from his perspective. I was like, you know what? Maybe we got married too fast. Maybe there's things that he wants to tell me that he really can't, vocalize it because, he doesn't want to hurt my feelings. Like, clearly, if he wanted this marriage, he would fight for it.
Yeah.
So there might be something on his end that he's coming to a reality check that this probably what, I don't know.
Right.
So, yeah, I had to just make the tough decision and just let it go.
Yeah.
And it ended up honestly being the best thing for me. Like, we're still, we're cordial. We co-parent just fine now. Took some time to get to that point. But I need him to be the best version of himself. So, I'm not
for
one
the
of those.
Kids.
Yeah, I'm not a bitter baby mama, a bitter ex-wife.
What? You said a hand mouthful there. Because I want to touch on the first part when you were saying that, your parent, your grandparents, your mom, whatever, just the older folks, they're just like, you better stay in that marriage.
Girl,
and here's the thing with that, right? And I talked about this on a podcast before on Student to Life, and I spoke about our people always referring to, the grandparents stay together, And it's like, you don't know what hell they've been through.
It. But at that time, the men were the sole providers. Women didn't work. Women were supposed to be at home, taking care of home. And there was no other source of income or life for them outside of their husbands. So they stayed.
My grandpa passed away in 2018, and my grandmother was with him, I want to say, 40-something years, 50, I don't know, a long ass time. And she let out all the rats in the bag that he had piled up. And I'm just like, how the hell did you stay here? So I said to her, well, I didn't say to her, but I thought to myself, well, she had no choice. She had literally no choice.
My favorite thing about my salon is the Texture Club. It looks like this, but it feels like this. One easy monthly payment that transforms the way I look and feel. So when I leave, I feel like I'm walking the runway, all dolled up.
I never understood why, and then it didn't dawn onto me, until probably now podcasting and learning more about relationships and people and talking to my clients, like, this was something that they had no choice to do, and now there needs to be a new rule book, right? So now as women, we have our own.
I mean, we do have a new rule book. Our elders just don't respect it because it's just not what they're
But the rule book to stay together, because the old rules don't apply anymore. The old rules was stay in a marriage because he gonna provide the house, the kids. Now it's like, okay, we can get that for ourselves. We have to really find a different foundation now to like really hold on the way they held on.
The foundation at this point, it's not even about like us being able to do anything for ourselves, because at the end of the day we still need men, we still want somebody in our lives, but it's just the foundation of what's required in a relationship to actually succeed, that respect, the communication, the loyalty, the honesty, the faithfulness, the trust. That's what's going to keep me in a relationship, knowing that I have that safe space to find those things. If I can't find that, I don't care what you do for me. I don't care how many kids we have. I'm not staying. So
and then it's even if those things get ruffled up a bit, it's like we both have to do the work to keep this going. Definitely. So after the marriage was over, I know you had to take some space, some time.
Oh yeah,
definitely. That's 11 years, right? Okay, so how was that process for you before you got back into the fecal matter dating pool?
My fecal matter. The dating pool has fecal matter, y'all. It definitely took some time. I was devastated. Like, it was a very hard divorce. Like I said, since a little girl, I always imagined marriage for myself. I was so young, and listening to music, I just knew it's what I wanted. And for that to be taken from me because of a selfish decision of someone, that didn't consider me or the kids that we had together, I was terrified. I didn't want to date. I didn't know what sex was. I felt ugly. As a beautiful woman, like, it means nothing when your friends tell you you're beautiful, but your husband cheats on you. You know what I'm saying? Like, beautiful where? So there was just a lot of triggers. If I saw like a lot of, younger, sexy women. I'm just like, you know, it was super, super hard.
Did you victimize yourself a little bit?
Most certainly. Yeah. I blamed me. Deep, very, very deep depression, to a point where it was suicidal, you know? It was very, very tough for me. I didn't know how to like move on. Like,
how was it with like, because, you know, I'm a mom too, but you have 3. So having to, because we have to put on this mask for them. And it's,
girl, I ain't put no mask
on. I knew you was going to say that.
I did the bare minimum. I did what I had to do. I couldn't do, because at the top, I was like, and that's one thing that I learned now, balancing myself, because I overgave to my marriage. I overgave to my kids. And, you know, I don't think there's a problem with that, but just don't forget about you. I completely forgot about me. My kids and my husband were my world. You know what I'm saying? And then when that happened, I was supposed to return to work because I had just had the baby. I couldn't even go back to work. I had no strength. I had no motivation. I had no desire. I did not brush my teeth. I ain't brushing my hair, girl. I was popping veins in my eyes every other week because I was crying so hard. And it was really, really bad. I just did what I needed to do. They bathed. He probably did the cooking because, you know, while we were still together before we separated. It took the life out of me. You know, they do say that marriage, I mean, a divorce is almost like a death. And it really, my mom was, what death? Who died?
I know.
You know? She's like, who died? What death? Go take that man out for his birthday. I'm like, lady, go sit down somewhere.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, it was, I wish that on nobody.
And you know, because even being in a long-term relationship and without the marriage and it just ending is still tough. So I can in marriage, 3 kids, 11 years.
A newborn baby.
And so postpartum.
Girl, postpartum depression, just everything hit me. Everything. I had no desire to do nothing. I literally just laid in bed. I didn't want to do nothing. And honestly, Jaleesa is the one that saved me because she was a newborn, so she needed me. You know what I'm saying? So she's the one that actually helped me to move around. I kind of left my ex-husband to do everything at the time. Like, I'm not picking nobody up. I ain't cooking. I ain't doing no. I was dead. I was just existing. But with her, while they were going to school, she's the one that she's the one that sat in the bed with me. She's, you know, so.
Yeah, and you're like, damn, I got to be better for her. She's watching it. She's growing up. So when did the light come on and Johyko was reborn?
Ooh. Okay, so I remember being separated. I remember feeling lonely because I hadn't dated. I hadn't done anything with nobody. Like, I just was not in that space. And I remember I started to just miss being told I'm pretty. I miss dressing up. I'm like, okay, it's time to start dating. I knew I wasn't healed yet, so I knew I couldn't, like, get into anything serious. But I just wanted the company of somebody that was not my platonic friends or my girlfriends. I'm like, you know, I wanted a male companionship. So it was at that point that I kind of started to get myself together. Then I remember always just on the phone talking about what he did. So I'm like, Joe, let's shift the focus on you. Like, even though you did no wrong as far as infidelity in a relationship, where could you have been better? Because at some point, you know you want to be in a relationship again. So why don't you focus on some of the things that you could have corrected in your marriage so that when it's time, you know what I mean? You'll be ready. So I stopped blaming him for everything. And I started to kind of like, okay, you didn't cheat. You didn't do, but you could have did this better. You could have did that better. So I was like, all right, let's focus on you. Let's focus on bettering yourself. And then it was in that moment as well, I was like, what do you like to do? And I remember I couldn't answer. I was like, damn, what do I like to do? Because remember, life was all about him and the kids. So I was like, damn, I had to really, and I was like, oh, I like to dress up. I like to get my nails done. Oh yeah, I do like to travel. Because I remember when I was married to him, we only used to do like the cruises. But I wanted to get our passport. But me being a submissive type, he was like, you know, that's just not the focus. Let's just keep doing the cruise thing. I want to travel. I need to get a passport. And I started to kind of like remember. And then that's where like the rebirth happened. It took some time to kind of like figure me out. Because I remember I went on a date and the guy was like, if you could have your dream job, what would it be? And I was like, damn.
Don't those questions just be like, wait a minute, where did that even come
I just
from?
was not into myself, so I didn't know. So it was at that moment I realized, you know, this is an opportunity for me to restart, renew, refresh, rebrand, and just, you know, rebirth.
Just rebirth.
So that's around that time that I started to like, I started to come back. And then I was so depressed. I had a suicide attempt, you know, in that year. And then it was at that point I realized, you know what? No matter what we go through, happiness is still a choice. It's instinctive to naturally feel and connect to whatever we're going through. So at the time, my job wasn't what I wanted it to be. I had moved in with my sister. Life was just not lifing for me.
Right.
But then something clicked and was like, but that option of happiness, it's
still there. It never leaves.
It never leaves. It's
Ever.
just up to you to decide to still be happy despite what you're going through, you know, and I had to make that choice.
Yeah.
And it made sense. And I'm like, just because I don't have my house anymore, just because I don't have the job that I want right now, just because I don't know what the hell I'm doing, just because I miss my marriage, just because I could still be happy.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's when I put my damn lipstick on and I put my heels on and I just started to live life.
Yeah.
I started to go out and, you know, some friends started to get a little concerned. They're like, Joe, you're doing a little too much. Like, why are you starting to wear this? Look, I don't give a fuck. I'm doing what makes me happy.
Yeah.
Like, this is my life for me to live.
And
they don't know.
They don't know the darkness that what it took to get out of that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even matter. You know what I'm saying? It's I feel as if me and you were friends during that time, it's like I would be encouraging you to like, girl, let's go out.
I had
let's
the
go
friends
travel.
that did, and then I had the friends that
just was like
concerned. You, in my marriage, I was holier than thou, honey.
Right.
College, I was that fun college girl, and then eventually, like, before I got engaged, I got saved.
Yeah.
And then from there, girl, I was Bible all day, you would not know that I am who I am, even though a lot of me still existed. You know, I was still that friendly girl, still that fun person, but I didn't drink, I didn't curse.
Right.
I was in church on Sunday, Bible study on Monday, children's church on Tuesday, choir rehearsal on Wednesday, marriage ministry on Thursday. I was in church, like, so for people to kind of see that shift.
Gotcha.
Now I went from that to twerking and, you know, whatever, and wearing what I wanted to.
They're probably like, oh my gosh, she's on a spiral. She's on a downward spiral now. Okay, so it's interesting you say that, because us as women, when we submit, and I used this word on my last episode, and my guest was like, she almost freaked out, but it was her third marriage.
That word doesn't scare me at all.
Exactly, right? But here's the thing of submitting. Submitting can also cause you to lose your identity if you're not intentional with it, right? So, for instance, your marriage, correct me if I'm wrong, you went into what was written and what a wife is supposed to be.
Right.
And you submitted to your husband. But in that time, the submission caused you to forget who you were, right? And not often do they talk about finding that balance, right? And you'll see, I know a lot of married couples right now, and the women, they party together. Right. They vibing together. Right. But when she's home, it's wife, she's cooking, they do it as a team, as a unit. They don't talk about that in the churches. They kind of make it seem as if, yes, your husband should be the leader, and I agree, but they kind of make it seem as if it's whatever he says you have to do, you don't have a say.
I agree to some of what you're saying, but at the same time, the church does also tell the man that, you know, when you're making your decisions, you always have to consider your woman.
Wife.
And it's, you know, women should be submissive to men who are going to put your best interests at heart first.
Right.
You know, and I think that was the issue. It wasn't the submission. It was the fact that we just were not aligned. Like me and my ex-husband, we were unevenly yoked. You know what I'm saying? Right. So we had difference of opinions.
Right.
We were opposite attracts.
Yeah.
So that's where the problem lies.
Now, would you say for your next marriage, because I'm going to put that over you, I know you want to be married again, in a healthy marriage this time, would you do it the same way?
In what sense?
In, you know, just the way that you kind of just put your needs to the side. Would you kind of navigate it
absolutely not.
differently now?
Yeah, at this
and
point.
And still be yourself.
Yeah, I have to be able to be myself.
Yeah.
And the issue was, it's not that I wasn't able to be myself in my marriage. Like, one thing that I appreciate about my ex-husband, he didn't care what I wore. He liked that. He's like, you know, let them see. Let them, you know, but they can't touch. Like, I love a trophy wife. Like, you know what I mean? We partied. We did all that stuff together. It was just the alignment was off. We weren't compatible. We had different opinions about just raising the kids, financial stuff, like the things that mattered. I believed in a joint account. Initially, he didn't. I was okay with relocating. He wasn't. Like, we just, as two people trying to become one, we weren't aligned. And one thing that I try to teach people now, like, for me personally, I need the male version of myself. Compatibility is like the most important thing at this point, because I already tried the opposite attract. And you have to think about it like this. You're already two different people from two different upbringings, two different walks of lives, two different things. So that already is going to create friction to become one. And now the fact that you guys have different opinions, different this, it's really, and that's what happened with me and my ex-husband. And I realized that while we were married, and I was like, shit. But then I'm like, till death do us part. Like, I made a vow. Figure it out. I'm in the church. My job is just to pray. Right. So we're here trying to get like this, but we're like this because we couldn't. Yeah. So compatibility, same goals, same ambition. I mean, you still should have your own identity and your own independent, you know, wants, needs, and desires. But for the most part, you guys should have like a common ground where most things align. We both like to do the same things. We both have the same political views, religious views, all that type of stuff, you know, for the most part. Because then it helps with the alignment.
Right. I agree.
We weren't there at all.
So let's pivot now, right? You're out the rut. The light came back on. You're like, all right.
I was outside, girl.
Right? We outside. We out here now. So, the dating pool. Before Pop the Balloon, did you do dating apps?
I did. I didn't get into the dating apps until 2020. Okay. Me and my ex-husband, we separated in 2017, divorced. So, yeah, from that point on, I remember initially when I came out of the divorce, I was like, all right, I just want someone that can, like, you know, we can fuck, we can hang out, we can do things together. And my friends are like, that sounds like a boyfriend. And I'm like,
maybe that's what you need right now.
I'm like, no, because I don't want the commitment, because I know that I couldn't commit just yet because I wasn't fully healed.
Right.
But yeah, I am. I told you I'm a one-woman type of person, so I just want that one person.
You wanted like a situationship.
Right. That's exactly what I wanted, and it just didn't work.
Yeah, and it never really do.
Yeah. So eventually my friend referred me to the dating apps. That's hard for me because I'm such a personable in-person type person, so... you get a lot of matches and they all ask, what's your favorite color? And I'm like, okay. So I would always like delete, not respond. I constantly go missing, delete the app, whatever. But yeah, it's
Did you have any type of success with it? Like, or did you meet anyone that you could say, I'm actually still cool with that person?
You know, I did meet my ex on there. So I did have one ex throughout since my divorce. 2022, I saw this white guy on there, and I was like, "Ooh, he cute." And it's funny because I kept sending my friends these like Instagram videos and reels, like, "Girl, look at I'm about to go to the other side because the black men, I
know a little bit about that."
So I didn't know anything about that. I had never dated outside of my race, and even after my divorce, relatives and friends were like, you know, it's harder for black women because, you know, a lot of the black population men, they're gay, they're incarcerated. Try to date outside of
your race.
I couldn't do it. So, but eventually he intrigued me because he had this big ass tattoo on his back of a black African woman, and it was like the safari and shit. And I'm like, yo, what's up with your tattoo? What's going on with that? Like, and then I saw that he was like at an orphanage, and when I went to Kenya and Africa, I went to the orphanage, and you know, so I was just like, hold up now. And he seemed pretty comical in his photos. Like, so I'm like, very handsome man. And then from there, he told me he had never dated a white woman. He's only dated black women, you know. And he lived in Sweden though, but his family, they have like a home here, you know, that they vacation. So, you know, we linked up, and you know, I was attracted, and and
how long did that last?
4 months.
Okay.
It didn't last too long.
How was the sex?
It was actually pretty good.
Wow.
Yeah, it was great.
I've only danced with a white guy,
and I was nervous, and I remember like holding off on that. He's like, what's wrong? And I'm like,
I don't know how this is gonna go.
I'm used to that black meat. That meat be looking all pink and raw. Yeah, be looking all pink. I'm like, I gotta put my mouth on that. So, girl, I was just like, like pink. Girl, I need my thing.
I need to look
medium
good.
well.
Look good.
Well done. But to my girl, obviously he's only been with black women, so
he already knew what was up.
He knew what was up, girl. From the mouth to the motion, girl. It was the potion was potioning.
Well, how did that end? Why did it end?
I felt like I couldn't be myself with him. Like when one thing about me, when I first meet somebody, I let you know everything about me. Put it all on the table. You take it or leave it. But this is me. So I'm like, look, I like to travel. I love to be in social settings. You know, are you going to have a problem with that? You know, and he was a super healthy eater. I'm like, look, I hookah, I drink, and I eat everything.
And I might use chicken wing real quick.
Listen,
like, what we about to do?
He was a strict eater, hadn't drank in 10 years. So I'm like, will you judge me? Because I don't mind somebody like that, but as long as you don't force that on me. And I was like, trust me, like if we get deep, I'm sure you'll have a positive influence on me and my household. But for right now, you got to just give us some time. Girl, that man came from Sweden. He spent 37 days in my house. First thing he did when he came, just looked at all the food labels. And he just was constantly judging and criticizing. I remember I wanted my seafood boil, and he was like, why is it so expensive? This is crazy. Mind you, I mean, his family, they're multimillionaires. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So everybody was like, girl, don't let that go. But again, I'm not in it for the money.
Exactly.
I never asked him how much money he made.
Right.
I'm a heart person. You know what I'm saying? Like, who are you as a person?
Because if all this money and everything is gone, who are you?
Right. Yeah. And that's what I really care about. So, but girl,
It's gonna deal.
He wouldn't let me. It's not that he wouldn't. I didn't feel comfortable doing certain things around him. You know what I'm saying?
It's like, oh my God, he's gonna judge me. He's gonna say something about this.
Because he was.
Like if I come home tipsy, he's gonna be like, oh my God, you're drinking.
It was something for everything. And then I noticed, I'm like, all right, my friends want to meet you. Let's go out. Everything that I wanted to do, he always would switch. I'm like, no, let's do this instead.
Nah.
And I didn't notice, but it was little low key controlling.
Yeah.
And then him being the guest here, you know, I'm like, all right, let's just do whatever he wants. But then I realized, girl, 17 days went by. I didn't see my friends.
Oh no.
He didn't want to go out. So I was just like, we were supposed to travel to Colombia, and I had an invite to Thailand that summer, and even Mexico, and I was like, come with me. And he was just more like, nah, let's focus on working right now, and then maybe next year. And I'm like, next year when? Like, I'm the type, work hard, play hard.
Yeah,
like, tomorrow's not promised.
Yeah.
So I definitely try to find that work and fun life balance. And
the
whole 4 months, I went nowhere. And then there was just a cultural difference. There was a thing with his dog. This man had a big ass like pit bull that he wanted to sleep on the bed with us. And I'm like, and I did it once when I went to Sweden, and the dog was just kicking the shit out of me like a whole kid, like just doing all this shit. And I'm like,
you're not supposed to be here,
bro. I'm like, I can't do this. I'm sorry. So when he came to stay with me, he would not leave the dog here. He left the dog. And I'm like, that's like your child.
Right.
And you're meeting my kids, but I can't bring your kid here.
Right.
I'm like, we can make, because he's good with his hands. So I'm like, we can make something for the dog to be leveled with us. He wasn't with it. So at some point I told him, I said, look, the connection that I felt, the chemistry, I'm not really feeling it. So let's just take things slow.
Yeah.
Because he was trying to get me pregnant at the time.
Oh gosh, no ring? Like,
wait, hold on. He was trying to get me pregnant at the time, and I told him no. Because at the end of the day, I did see myself marrying him and being with him. But I'm still a realistic person. I still need to let the time play out to see who you truly are. And I'm seeing some things.
Yeah.
And as much as I want love, I'm not that desperate to force myself to be in something. So when I told him, let's slow down, the next day he's like, I picked out your ring. And I'm like, nigga, what?
What?
Yeah.
And he's not even a nigga.
And I was just like, like, let's slow down. He was like, let's just break up. And I
was
like, so I was heartbroken by that, because to be honest, that was the first man that I felt, that girl, when I tell you these, girl, these other mans, they walk, they like literally like they kiss the floor that you walk on. The compliments, the way that this man admired me, the way that he motivated me, like I didn't get that from any black man that I've ever been with. You know what I'm saying? So he was truly loving my girl. To this day, girl, Jaleese, lean as this and lean as that. And remember, I'm like, damn, forget this man, please.
Dang.
And he was that impactful in our lives.
Wow.
He was truly caring. So he came back a week later, like, yo, I want to try to work this out. I'm like, nigga, I'm on my healing phase right now.
Right, like this.
I said, give me a few days. Give me some time, because I want to make sure that if I make this decision, it's not based off my emotions, but it's based off like logical reasons. Girl, 3 days later, I'm blocked off WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram. I'm blocked.
Oh no, see.
Never spoke to him again in my life. Like he never reached out, nothing. So that was the end of it, and that's that.
That's
so
so much. That's
it is what it is. I don't know if I could.
mean, he left. He was supposed to leave. Shit.
Yeah, it is what it is.
You probably would have been dragged down with him anyways, and you probably processed everything like fully after.
And there were other things too, but I'm not gonna lie, that was the closest to what I've been looking for.
Okay, and that was off of a dating app. So you see, people, you never know where you're gonna find love at.
Yeah,
so
it's definitely possible.
Because I was like, when I seen you on Pop the Balloon, I'm like, I hope she would at least try some dating apps, because how she got here? Like, Pop the Balloon in Arizona? Okay, all right. And I'm like, she gotta have tried some
I always saw the clips on social media, and then I started to follow their page.
Yeah.
And then it just would crack me up, and I'm like, you know what? I'm single. Yeah. Why not? So I reached out to Arlette's husband, BM. Yeah. And I was like, yo, like, how do you get on this show, and where is it filmed? And it was like, it's in Arizona. Could you get here? I'm like, nigga, say less, because I was already trying to book a trip. Yeah. I think Labor Day weekend or something was coming up. So I'm like, what's up? Like, I've never been to Arizona. I wouldn't mind traveling and getting to explore the area. Yeah. And that was that. They interviewed me, and, you know, I had to answer like a little questionnaire and all this type of stuff. And I was a little worried because he was like, how old are you? And I was like, oh. Because when I watched the show, it's like, it seems to be more younger.
It was like 20s or so.
In the 20s, early 30s. And I was like, 39. How many kids? I was like, three.
Yeah.
So, of course, when I told my friends I was going, I only told like a few selected because we couldn't really tell nobody.
Right.
They were like, girl, especially Seja. Seja was like, Mommy, as soon as you say 3 kids, I'm like, pop, 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 pop. So I knew that there was the possibility that I was just going to get pop, 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 pop,
Yeah.
But they do try to find people that are within what you're looking for. And they know like what your situation is.
Because I just seen an episode with them, and a lot of the ladies were in their later 30s, early 40s.
Yeah, I saw that they did like a older one again.
Yeah, I was like, I like that.
Yeah, I love it. You know, honestly, they have true intentions on that show. A lot of people think it's entertainment, obviously, because, you know, but they do have like a real passion to like connect people. They're for real.
And that's how, like, I am very choosy with what I watch. I have my entertainment stuff, and then I have like so many different podcasts that I watch. But when it comes to like my entertainment, I'm very choosy because, you know, I don't need my brain shrinking. Right. And when I seen Pop the Balloon, and I started seeing a whole bunch of them, I'm like, well, where's the original? And I seen the one with Arlette, and I love Arlette's energy. Like,
yeah, she's so sweet.
It's so like genuine. you just want to smile around her. She's so
funny.
Yeah, it's like she's you just want to smile.
I love her.
Yeah, and I was like, let me subscribe because I like their vibe, and I said to myself, I hope she's married. This was before I knew everything. Yeah. Because I'm like, you can't have a dating show and you're single.
Yeah,
it's like
she's
weird.
married. They have a little girl.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know she had a daughter. Mm-hmm. Oh, nice. Yeah. Shout out to them. Shout out to them.
Definitely.
So, now your viral moment, right? The whole wig thing with the braids, and because when Homeboy said it, I was like,
Did you recognize me with the wig on? Because a lot of people were like, when I saw her with the wig, like, even my mentor just called me yesterday because her niece just sent the video. And she's like, I'm calling you, girl, because my niece is like, Auntie, I saw this video and I'm going to send it to you. The boy tried to play her. Right. And she's like, I'm watching it. And she was like, why does this person look familiar? She's like, it wasn't until I took the wig off that she noticed.
I recognized it when you said where you were from.
Okay.
And the voice, because I always be trying to see who's from Florida.
Yeah.
And that's when I went like this. And I was like, wait a minute. And I'm like, and then it kept going, and then you took the wig off. Well, when he said the braid thing, I was like, I'm like, he don't even know that she's shortcut underneath, like, whatever. Right. But I didn't know what was gonna come after that.
Yeah.
And when you took the wig off, I was like, and then the platinum was fresh, and the design was fresh. It was crisp, and I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Like, yes. And because everyone was looking so scared when he was taking it off, like, oh no, she about to show them braids.
It was like, don't do it, please.
Right.
Don't do it. And even she was like, you want to take it off? I'm like, listen. And I don't know if you noticed on my Instagram a few days later, I posted like a whole different times that I've taken my wig off. I'm not a wig person. Girl, that's the reality of it.
I'm the same way.
I don't like hair. I don't
not
like
for too long,
sew-ins. That's why I don't do individuals. I like to keep stuff on me. I like to just be free. So I didn't have no shame. I'm a pretty confident person. I'm very secure in myself. Mm-hmm. I had no issue taking the wig off. And then I was like, it's either I don't take this wig off and these millions of people, because her show gets 2.5 million views per episode on average. Wow. They all gonna talk about the possibility of me having some dusty, dookie, big, lumpy, color purple braids under my head. So I'm like, I'm either gonna walk off and let people think this about me,
or I'm gonna just take this shit off.
Or I'm gonna take this shit off and show them who the fuck I really am.
Right.
Braids wear, bitch.
Girl, let me just say this. You represent not only for the black girls, but for the black bald girls. Okay.
I did it for you guys.
Because it's a whole nother confidence that you have when you wear your hair short.
It definitely acquires a high level of confidence.
You see yourself as a whole nother type of woman. And I'm so glad you did that. I'm so glad I know this girl. Like, I'm so glad I know you, because that is epic.
And I was nervous going on the show because regardless of how nice you are, the internet is
it's very disgusting.
Up. So it was very heartwarming and heartfelt for me. I actually cried like 3 days later because people were just blowing it was so overwhelming. I got 13 to 14,000 more followers just off the show and from going viral on Shade Room and everything. So who I was on the show is truly who I am, and I work hard to be that person. At some point in life, I just chose to be a good person. I don't make fun of other people. I don't play other people down. I don't. These are people. They have kids, you know. So it really showed who I was. And just in a 31-second clip, everybody fell in love with me. I'm looking for bad comments, which I really didn't see none. Everybody was just like, "Why is she wearing wigs?" But outside of that,
you know what's crazy?
The world loved me, and
because I knew a little bit about you, and we've had little conversations here and there, and. Because if I didn't at least know that, and I just kind of just knew that my daughter has, you know, shares a class with your daughter, I wouldn't have been like, oh my God, you know, I got to reach out to my girl. I got to, you know. But the fact that I knew that this is actually you.
It's me.
This is you, for real. And you're really authentic. You really, you know, you're a genuine person. Yeah. And I was like, yeah. I love it, and you got to come on the show.
Yeah, I know. It made me cry because I'm like, wow, like, because sometimes you have people in your life, toxic situations where people are trying to tell you that you're not who you are. Like, you think somebody gonna love you, you think this and that, and I know I'm not this person. So to see that the whole world only saw me for 31 seconds and they felt in love with me.
Girl.
That felt so good. It showed me that I'm raising my kids right. It showed me that I'm really doing something good in this world. Like, because I truly was being myself.
Yeah. And I want to, how has life, I know that it's, you know, as far as, you know, going viral and, you know, gaining the followers on Instagram and just being noticed even more through so many different people.
Right.
How has life been for you as far as just after that great moment? Like the confidence, the everything, because you already had all of that. But just to see the impact that you had on so much Black women and so much bald women, you know, how has that been for you spiritually, mentally, you know, physically? Like, how has it been for you?
It's been nothing but fulfilling and rewarding. And at the end of the day, like, I'm always a girl's girl. I like to use my platform to promote natural bodies and just being body positivity and just allowing us to embrace ourselves wherever we are. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to our beauty, and you know, there's just so many women that aren't as confident.
Right.
So I'm glad that set like a tone for so many women. I got so many responses from women. Yeah. So yeah, it felt good.
You could start a whole foundation.
Yeah, I mean, my friends were like, "Girl, you better capitalize off this shit." Like, because I didn't have TikTok. I had TikTok, but I had it for the kids. I let them do their little videos and stuff. And then I had TikTok for my cooking. Like, I would use it to like put my videos together and just like make one video. But I never posted. I never scrolled on TikTok and Twitter. So people were like, "Yo, there are people making money right now off your video on TikTok and Twitter."
Yes.
So they were like, create an account right now. And I did, but I don't know how to navigate it.
Right.
So I hired a social media manager. I did get hired by a social media talent agency.
Okay.
But, you know, they're asking me to, and again, I'm all about organic and natural feeling.
But they're trying to like bring you out of that.
They're asking me to do like get ready with me's and stuff like that. And, you know, I don't do those things.
Right.
Like, you know, at the end of the day, I don't look for fame. I post, again, to inspire people and just to share my life. Like, you know, and just to bring laughter and happiness to people. Yeah. Now I'm being asked to do a job. So she's like, your page, she was like, honestly, your page is lit. Like, she's like, you're a jack of all trades.
Right, right.
She's like, I would consider you a lifestyle influencer because you travel, you dine, you fashion, you're like everything. You do comedy, like, but she was like, but I need you to kind of hone in on just like one thing, because these brands are gonna come. She was, you know, the goal is to get me some brand deals and stuff like that. Right. But she's like, your page is kind of all over, so focus on one thing. I said, all right, because she was like, your post, it's clothes, but it's more pictures of you and not the items, the products. So I did like one video in the last month, and she's been asking me to do like 2 in a week. But I'm willing, I'll try. Yeah. But if it doesn't feel natural to me, I don't care for the fame.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm trying to capitalize off of it, but I don't really have the genuine like desire to capitalize off of it.
Right.
But everybody, and I agree, like you would be stupid if you don't take advantage of this.
Right.
So I'm trying, but
I mean, and then I feel like there's going to be that light bulb that goes off when you know exactly what you need to do.
Sneeze.
You guys sneeze? Sneeze, girl,
look up at the light.
There's going to be that light bulb that goes off when you know exactly like what it is that this moment, what God had for you from having that moment. And it's probably didn't start yet, but it's going to come to you.
I wouldn't mind if it like, you know, I would love to host. I would love to be like a red carpet host or something.
Yeah.
You know, something like that. Like, I wouldn't mind things like that. But other than that, to get ready with me, I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm still in the works of that. I've been doing some more work with like photographers.
Yeah.
I do not like doing photo shoots. If you notice, everything on my page, it's just, if you see me in a photo shoot, it's from my carnival.
Right.
Carnival time. But other than that, I'm not the photo. You know, you have girls that, like, I was looking at your page. I'm like, damn, you got a few photo shoot stuff.
Yeah.
I did one at my house on Sunday. Yeah. Girl, I was so nervous.
You know what's crazy? I never really cared for that because I'm a hairstylist. So, like, I'm used to being behind the scenes, glamming everybody up. Right. And then when I started to have my own brand for real and then podcasting, I'm like, damn, I gotta be in front of the camera. Let me figure this out.
I don't like it. I'm super intimidated.
I was never a fan.
I'm super nervous.
Yeah. It's like there's another person you have to, I always call her on, and I don't know, I'll be like, girl, whoever you are, show up right now for this photo shoot because I need the energy.
That's what I need to. I gotta put music, I need a drink.
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
So, we're gonna have a little fun. Okay?
Okay.
Have a little bit of fun. We're going to go into a segment called This or That. I'm going to ask you 5 different things.
Okay.
And, yeah, you choose one. If you can't choose, we're going to take a sip. Okay. All right. Let's go.
Let's take a sip first.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what questions you have.
And I might have to change it up in my head a little bit. I might just pop out something that's, you know. Okay. All right, black men or white men?
Black.
Damn, you supposed to be like, damn, I don't even know yet.
No, black.
Okay.
So right now it's all black, yeah.
All right. Dating apps or in person?
In person.
Okay. Soca or compa?
Ooh, bitch. Why the fuck would you ask me that? Ooh, that's messed up. Wait.
I knew I was going to get you with that one.
But nobody's ever asked me that. You ain't right.
You want to take a sip?
I thought we were friends.
Let's take a sip. Come on.
Honestly, I'm going to say soca.
Damn.
Soca's my shit.
I'm trying to get your tipsy here.
But I love my compa too, though.
Right.
But soca ain't nothing like no soca music.
All right. Loyalty or respect?
Ooh, hold on. I don't know. I feel like they both are hand in hand because with loyalty comes respect if you're respectful. But I feel like loyalty has a stronger obligation than respect. So I'm going to say loyalty because I feel like respect falls under the umbrella of loyalty. So loyalty.
Okay. Sunrise or sunset?
Like, I'm going to say sunset.
Sunset? Okay. Last one. Past or future?
As in what?
Whatever.
Past or future? Future.
Why you say future?
Because the future holds the unknown, the possibilities, endless possibilities. The past, I can't change it. I can't fix it. I can learn from it in the future.
Right.
So, future.
Okay. All right. You did good. You did good. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right. So, this is the next little segment. It's called Flip the Switch. And you get to ask me whatever you want. Be nice, that. Please.
Okay. So, are you dating right now?
Why does this keep happening to me? All right. Yeah, I'm dating.
What are you looking for? What's your situation like?
Well,
were you ever married?
I was never married.
Okay.
And I hold on to that part. Like, I really think you're single before you're married. Like, you're single unless you're married.
Right.
You know, because there's no covenant for real. Like,
right.
So I was engaged at 17.
shit.
Infidelity caused me to not go along with that. I was going to get married right after I graduated high school. And that just caused me not to do that. I'm happy that didn't happen. And I just kind of strayed away from the thought of marriage ever again. I was like, you know what? I just want a kid. You know, so that was like my main goal. Like, obviously find someone that I love and we don't got to be married. Let's just have a kid and we can figure it out marriage later. Right. And that was my mindset at 20. So I kind of just stuck with that and God did bless me with my child, but
is Sage your only child or?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So yeah, so after I had Sage and I kind of realized mommy world is totally different than what I thought it was and had to adjust to that. Right. I had this big thing like, okay, I always say like her dad's in her life. I was never looking for a father for her. I'm still not. A bonus dad, yeah. But I was never one of those women like, I'm a single mom. I'm not a single mom. I'm a single woman because I get the help from her dad. And I think a lot of women got to change that talk, right? Because it's like, no, you're not if the child's father is in the child's life and doing what he's supposed to do, you're not a single mom. You're a single woman.
We gonna like, because for me, I remember posting that one time on my Facebook, and oh my God, the discussion that it created, because I consider myself a single mom, even though, the kids go to their dad 50-50 and he does financially contribute to them, because I'm a single mom when they're with me. Like, when they're with me, it's just me. I don't have no help in the home. Like, I'm single-handedly doing everything.
Right.
I'm the mom taking them to school. I'm the mom cooking. I don't have nobody, like when I used to, like, oh, don't worry about it. I got it. You could go upstairs and out. It's single-handedly me taking care of my kids by myself in the home. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I think you look at it that way because you were married with them and you started off in a home, so I think for you, and I can understand why you look at it that way, because it's like you went from having that in the home and then not. So now it's like everything that he used to take on, he's not taking on no more, and I have to do this all on my own.
I mean, if I'm doing it by myself, I'm the mom doing it single-handedly. So that makes me a single mom. Right. But I do have a very active and present, Right, but then you think about, because I know a lot of women that child's father never showed up. And it's literally, I literally know, my mother was a single mom, like for real, So I'm kind of, I think I'm very careful with that word and how I use that phrase, because it's like, it could be worse, and I could really be out here with no help. And then I'm like, I'm single, like I am.
So I'm a single woman.
But I'm a single mom too, because I'm a mother.
Yeah, but it's like, I mean, I can get how it can be confusing, But that's kind of how I looked at it. So so it was like me wanting to navigate, because I would hear so much story. So I would meet people and I would date, but it was like I didn't know. I wanted to make sure whoever I introduced my daughter to is going to be him for real. Like I was just very. This is my first time being a mom, so I'm like, I need to know that this person is going to be good for my daughter. Yeah,
I'm very strict about that too. Like, in the 7 years that I've been single, my kids have met.
Yeah, and then I hear so
just
much.
My ex, one guy, and now someone more recent. But outside of that, I've dated. Yeah, but I made sure.
You got to make sure
on that week that my kids were gone. Yeah. That's when I chose to have company or be in the presence of a man. Like, ain't no man coming to my house to see.
Right. And I've heard, you hear so much stories, you see so much stories of a stepdad. And then, man, at the beginning of this year, I seen this whole thing on the internet. This 7-year-old, the mom had the boyfriend in the house, and the mom found out, the daughter told her that he's been touching on her. And she pulled a knife on him and called the cops. Like, come get this man out my house. The cops came in, shot the mom. The mom.
I missed that one. I didn't hear that one.
That took me over the edge. So it's stuff like that really messes with my mental. And so I'm very choosy, and I pray to God that whoever's for me, God, is just going to be for me for real.
Yeah, I know some people were a little opposed to me allowing my ex to meet my kids, the white guy. They're like, oh, you letting him pick the kids up from school. But we were dating a few months, and at this point, like, I have to include him.
Yeah, that way
I
agree.
And see how he, just does with the children.
Right.
So, like, if I'm planning on marrying this guy, like,
you have to know that.
Do I marry him and then the next day he meets the kids?
Right.
No.
It don't make no sense.
But because of that same concern, they were just like, yo, you doing a little too much. Like, you got him all in the mix with the kids, and because at the time I was working, and I got off later, but he was home at the house. So go get them. Like, they're like, you don't even know.
Yeah. But, I understand, like, it got to feel good to you. It got to be in your soul.
Yeah, I have a pretty good discernment. I can, like, I've had men trying to, like, oh, I want to get my son, and we'll go all to a game, and you can get your son.
Right.
Like, whose son?
And don't get,
Not my son.
and I've gotten really close. I have really gotten close. It's just circumstances that just didn't take it all the way there.
So what do you want? You want marriage, or are you still?
Yeah, I think God is preparing me to be a wife. There's been a lot of stuff happening in my life, and I'm like, okay, God, I see you. I see you. But I'm just like, I'm doing the work.
I don't know that I want to be married. I know you said that earlier. Like, I know you want a husband. I mean, I do want longevity, but marriage-wise, I'm starting to just, like, reconsider the idea of it, because I think in this time with society, a lot of people just don't truly value what marriage
Marriages.
is, and I do.
Right.
And I don't know, and I don't think that legal and lawful paperwork is what really truly determines your unity with somebody.
Yeah, I'm like, let's cut our problems and put the blood together.
Yeah, so I'm still, I'm open to the idea of marriage, but it's not a must like how it used to be for me. I've been there and I've done that, and I'm watching people today just left and right, like their marriage isn't what you really thought. You know, I travel a lot.
Yeah,
I travel a lot, boo, and a lot of men are just like, listen,
this ain't it.
Yeah. Men ain't gonna be faithful. So
right. I see it a lot. And I've had married men hit on me a whole bunch of times. And that shit, I hate it.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I'm not like, oh my God, I need to be married. But it's like, God, if it presents to me and it's right, and it feels right in my heart, and I know this is from you for real, then I'm gonna do it. But I'm not gonna be out here hunting it down. Like my life is great.
I'm okay with being single.
Yeah,
I'm okay. I've been single 7 years technically. I had that little 4-year situation,
right?
4-month situation. But at this point, 7 years. I mean, I do sometimes like, God, when? Because I'm 5'2". Like it's shit I just can't reach in my house, and you know what I'm saying? Like
we need a man.
We do need. I am one of those. I don't ever feel like I don't need a man.
Yeah.
Women have just become so independent because of the music and everything and all of this. Like just get your bag, catch your nut, and I need a man. In my life.
Exactly. And that's gonna really be there for real.
Definitely.
Yeah. So the last thing is for you to it's not bad. Just leave us a little, gem for the people and let us know what you got coming up or whatever's going on with Johyko.
I've been actually pretty booked and busy. Like I've been getting booked on these podcasts. My event planning and hosting business has been kind of like, getting back onto the groove of things. Okay. As you know, I do have my intimate fitness coaching
the writing class.
Yeah, so
I want to go.
Yeah,
let me be a teacher.
I will be doing a class next month. That's in the works, so stay tuned, guys. But I'm just trying to get back to those multiple streams of income. Whatever comes my way, I'm willing to do. But as far as that, I don't know, girl. I'm just momming, working, still traveling. The DMs have been very heavy since I went viral. Yeah. It's almost overwhelming though. So I don't even know where to start and who. But I do feel like my husband is in my DMs. Yeah. There are so many men. since the show. But it's so intimidating that I think out of the thousands of messages, I'm probably talking to like a solid 4 people.
Right, and even that, I'm like, who stays consistent.
I'm not consistent because
one of them gonna stay consistent. You're gonna be like, damn, it's been like 8 months and this one just still there. Like I'm
still scared. I still have my fears. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm a good woman and I just don't want people to take advantage. So But so that's what I have coming up so far.
Leave them a little gem, whatever they need to know leave them one for the baldies, for the baddies.
Love yourself. Be true to yourself. Don't tolerate nothing. Don't settle for nothing. Choose happiness always, no matter what you're going through in life. Happiness is still an option. So try your best to mentally wise be happy in spite of. You guys can catch me on social media. Instagram is Zominican85. Facebook, Johyko Rodriguez. Yes, I am Haitian and Dominican. And I think that's it.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for coming, Johyko. All right, guys, that was another episode of Wine Glass Conversations. Remember to like, subscribe, and share and comment on this episode what you think. All right? Bye, guys.